A nation's architectural development can be used to gauge its economic progress. However, the obsession with architectural growth has resulted in some unfortunate circumstances. From the $11 billion stadiums that saw little to no use to the world's emptiest airport, which was later transformed into a rice warehouse, we present to you some of the world's dumbest and most pointless mega projects ever. Oh, and hey, if you enjoy our content here at LuxCraze, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Number 1. London Garden Bridge. The Thames River, one of London's most famous landmarks, was the site of an unfinished mega project. The city intended to build a bridge that would act as a floating garden above the river. In 2015, the project sponsoring organization, the Garden Bridge Trust, revealed that the price to complete the bridge had increased to $260 million. $85 million would come from public sources, and people didn't like that. There was widespread public outrage, and several journalists condemned the project as too extravagant. People claimed that the bridge served no purpose because it was built in an area where there are already numerous bridges. The planning was suspended by the government in July 2016 while a financial analysis was being done. By 2017, the price had risen to an all-time high. At the time, the project only secured $180 million of the $280 million required. In August 2017, the project was officially abandoned because it would have required at least 6 more years to obtain the necessary funding. Number 2. Abandoned ghost cities in China. The 1,800-acre Zhangjun International Project in Shijiazhuang, China has been dubbed the city inside a ghost. The project was divided into 2 parts and cost $3 billion to build. A larger upscale neighborhood with apartments and theme parks, as well as a more compact business district with skyscrapers and shopping malls. Hearing all this really makes you wonder, how did this massive undertaking end up being abandoned in such a remote location? When they initially unveiled the initiative, there was a lot of excitement. They quickly sold 700 homes. However, development was unexpectedly halted in 2014 due to local authorities investigating the real estate firm behind the project. By 2017, the primary developer had been convicted of corruption charges and was imprisoned. As a result, the value of the properties plummeted and the corporation filed for bankruptcy. Hundreds of homeowners were unable to move in due to the government's seizure of the project. The Zhangjun International Project is now more of a tourist attraction than a residential development. Bloggers and YouTubers frequently visit because they are fascinated by the size of the abandoned property and want to learn more about it. Because there is no official indication that work will resume anytime soon, it appears that this $3 billion mega project will only be seen by intrepid travelers. Number 3. North Korea's Tower of Doom. The highest unoccupied structure in the world, known as North Korea's Tower of Doom, comes in 3rd on the list. Not many tourists are welcomed in North Korea. Due to its rivalry with South Korea, the country had the world's tallest hotel built with the intention of hosting thousands of visitors from around the world. The US had assisted South Korea in winning the bid to host the 1988 Olympics. Additionally, a South Korean state-owned company recently completed the world's tallest hotel in Singapore. North Korea took advantage of the opportunity to host the 1989 World Festival of Youth to not fall behind. A year later, work on a distinctive pyramid-shaped hotel in Pyongyang began. With a planned height of 330 meters, the Ryugyong Hotel would eventually surpass the South Korean hotel to become the world's tallest hotel. North Korea intended to open the hotel the night before the event. However, due to technical difficulties, the building could not be completed on time. By 1992, the project's funding source, the Soviet Union, had ceased to exist. When the financial assistance dwindled, the project came to a complete stop. The Ryugyong Hotel was now just a hollowed-out concrete structure with no windows or other facilities beyond the outside wall. Construction was halted for the next 16 years before an Egyptian company took over the project. By 2012, they had spent $180 million to add LEDs and a glass veneer to the building's exterior. However, due to North Korea's recent political issues, the resumed attempts were unsuccessful, and nowadays the government has resumed to abandon the structure once more. The Ryugyong Hotel is expected to cost more than $2 billion to complete, which is roughly 5% of North Korea's total GDP. The project's official status is unknown, and given North Korea's financial situation, its resumption appears highly unlikely. Number 4. Brazil's controversial Rainforest Stadium. Brazil was required to build 12 new football stadiums as well as renovate a few older ones. Brazil planned to spend $11 billion on this massive mega project, but despite the staggering cost, the country was eager to share its passion for sports with the rest of the world. These massive mega projects, however, are not always financially feasible in the long run, as is the case in many countries that host the World Cup. Critiques and financial consequences are sometimes overlooked in order to provide the best World Cup presentation. However, the problems with this massive project extended far beyond that. Despite the time and money spent on construction, the stadium only hosted 4 World Cups. The revenue generated by these few games was far less than what was spent. Following the 4 World Cup games, the stadium saw little use. The fan bases of the local teams cannot consistently fill the 40,000-seat area. Furthermore, many locals do not have the financial means to purchase game tickets. The stadium's rent and maintenance costs exceeded the team's total earnings. Number 5. The world's emptiest airport. The next major project was built in Sri Lanka's international airport in the sleepy community of Matala near Hambantota. The airport's construction was completed slightly more than 3 years after it began in November 2009. It was formally inaugurated for flight operations in March 2013. A total of $210 million was spent completing the project, $190 million of which came from Chinese loans. The airport is located in a small community of 20,000 people, 1/3 of whom live in poverty. As a result, the airport has no local demand. Despite its proximity to a number of tourist attractions, it is less appealing to visitors due to a lack of efficient transportation. Even Sri Lanka's national carrier ceased operations at the beginning of 2015 due to the former president's electoral setback. Because there was little demand and little traffic, wild animals began to outnumber those using the airport. At one point, the government ordered 300 troops to drive the wild animals out of the area. To save money, its massive space was also used as a warehouse for storing rice. According to critics, the project was never financially viable and was only built because the previous president was from Hambantota. Number 6. Golden Finance 117. Work on the Golden Finance 117 began in China 2008. According to China's expectations, it will surpass the Shanghai Tower and surpass Dubai's Burj Khalifa as the world's second tallest structure. The basement of the tower was completed in 2012, and its peak height was 597 meters. Construction on the project was reportedly halted in September 2015 after the project's developer declared bankruptcy. Construction was continued by the government in 2018, but it was quickly abandoned and no one has taken over the project since. While the building's construction is currently on hold, the tower did attract a few climbers who attempted to scale the vacant structure. The Beijing directive from April 2020 may have been the final straw for Golden Finance 117 in terms of the project's ability to resume. The government outlawed towers taller than 500 meters, and this appears that this massive structure will now never be completed. Many mega projects built by countries for the advancement of glory for their nation have tragically failed. This has cost their governments quite the large sum of money. But with careful planning and forward thinking, we should expect to see several worthwhile mega projects along the many global corridors in the future. Do you think any of the mega projects in this video have a chance of becoming useful in the future? Let us know down in the comments below. If you'd like to see more related luxurious concepts, subscribe to us here at Lux Craze. We really appreciate your time and we hope to see you in the next video.